In the swirling haze of the late 1960s, as vibrant colors and psychedelic sounds reshaped culture, four musicians from Liverpool stood as its undisputed icons. The Beatles, masters of reinvention, were on a journey not only through music, but also into uncharted creative realms. Their 10th studio album, Yellow Submarine, released on January 13, 1969, became a peculiar and whimsical chapter in their storied saga. Yet its genesis was far from ordinary. The project stemmed from a contract obligation, tied to an animated film that bore the same name. Initially, the band approached the idea with tepid interest. After all, they were fresh off the monumental success of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band and had just navigated the divisive reception of Magical Mystery Tour. But as they delved into the Yellow Submarine endeavor, they infused it with the surreal charm and playful irreverence that had become their hallmark. The result was an album split between their own compositions and an orchestral score by producer George Martin. Together, these elements formed a kaleidoscopic soundtrack that mirrored the film's animated adventure. The first side of the album featured 6 tracks, each carrying its own story and distinct mood. Leading the charge was the title track, Yellow Submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine. Originally recorded in 1966 for their Revolver album, the song was a joyous sing-along, fronted by Ringo Starr's endearing vocals.
Live the man who sailed to sea.
Written primarily by Paul McCartney with input from John Lennon, it blended childlike simplicity with experimental studio techniques. During its recording, the studio became a playground, filled with clanging chains, blowing bubbles, and improvised sound effects. Friends and staff joined in, contributing to the lively cacophony that painted the submarine's fantastical world. Only a Northern Song, a George Harrison composition, followed.
Well, it's only a northern song.
Recorded during the Sgt. Pepper sessions, it was a wry commentary on Harrison's frustrations with the publishing arrangements that saw his songs credited to Lennon-McCartney's Northern Songs Company. The track's offbeat structure and dissonant harmonies reflected Harrison's growing interest in experimental sounds and his wry sense of humor. Its inclusion in the film and album highlighted Harrison's evolving role within the band, both as a songwriter and as a voice for their more avant-garde explorations. Next came All Together Now, a buoyant McCartney-led tune.
All together now, all together now, all together now.
Recorded in a single session in May 1967, its simplicity was deliberate. Paul envisioned it as a song that could transcend language and borders, an anthem for the universal spirit of togetherness. Its repetitive lyrics and upbeat tempo captured the playful, almost nursery rhyme quality that appealed to listeners of all ages. The song's infectious energy translated seamlessly to the film, where it accompanied a jubilant montage of animation. Hey Bulldog brought a shift in tone. Recorded during a single afternoon session in February 1968, it showcased Lennon's sharp wit and the band's tight musicianship. Built around a driving piano riff and bolstered by Paul's dynamic bass line, it epitomized the raw energy that underpinned even their most experimental works. The recording session itself was marked by spontaneity, with Lennon and McCartney's playful banter captured in the final mix, adding an impromptu charm to the track. It's All Too Much, another Harrison contribution, took listeners on a sprawling psychedelic journey. Written in 1967 and inspired by Harrison's immersion in Indian philosophy, the track was a celebration of love, consciousness, and the overwhelming beauty of existence. With its feedback-laden guitar intro and swirling organ lines, it encapsulated the experimental spirit of the era. Its expansive soundscapes and uplifting lyrics made it a standout piece, perfectly suited to the film's otherworldly visuals. The first side closed with "All You Need Is Love."
No one you can save that can't be saved.
The iconic anthem of peace and love first performed during the Our World satellite broadcast in 1967. Its inclusion on the album reinforced its timeless message. Written by Lennon, the song blended simplicity and sophistication, using a basic refrain to convey a profound ideal. Orchestral flourishes and snippets of classical and folk melodies added to its universal appeal, ensuring its place as one of the Beatles' most enduring works. The second side of the album diverged sharply from the first. It was entirely instrumental, featuring George Martin's orchestral score for the film. A classically trained composer and producer, Martin used the opportunity to blend lush string arrangements with avant-garde elements, crafting pieces that mirrored the whimsical and surreal nature of the animation. Tracks like Pepperland and Sea of Time captured the magical essence of the film's underwater world. While others, like March of the Meanies, added a dramatic tension to the narrative. Though these compositions were a departure from the Beatles' usual fare, they underscored Martin's invaluable contribution to the band's broader creative vision. Yellow Submarine was released to coincide with the film, but it received a mixed reception upon its debut. Some critics saw it as a lesser entry in the Beatles' catalog, owing to the inclusion of previously released songs and the reliance on Martin's instrumental score. Yet, over time, the album gained a dedicated following, appreciated for its playful spirit and the way it complemented the film's groundbreaking visuals. For the Beatles, Yellow Submarine was both a fulfillment of contractual obligations and a chance to indulge their more whimsical side. It may not have carried the revolutionary weight of Revolver or the White Album, but it remains a colorful and imaginative chapter in their legacy. With its mix of sing-alongs, sonic experimentation, and orchestral grandeur, it invites listeners to dive into a world of creativity and wonder, a reminder of the Beatles' unparalleled ability to transform even the simplest concepts into something extraordinary.